Okay, so they have a lot of different organizations during tax times where you go when you file your taxes and you pay a lot of money, okay, and you have to go through. So you do a lot of e-filing for people?
We try to electronically file every return we prepare.
Okay.
The only times that we would have to do a paper return is if the return rejects or if we have to amend a return. Now, we do have a couple of sites that are open year-round, and at those sites we do a lot of this amended returns, and we do a lot of paper returns.
So let me ask you this here. I want to know what the projections is like. You know, when you go to your sites, how many tax returns can you give me? Or, you know, just a figure that you do in a month or a year or something like that.
This year, with all the entities that we had under us, we did somewhere in the neighborhood of about 9,300 tax returns.
Really?
And we probably returned, and we generated in federal tax refunds probably close to $10–11 million. And the earned income credits that we generated, which is actually free money coming back into the economy, was somewhere in the neighborhood of about $300,000 to $400,000.
Okay.
Child tax credit was pretty much the same, about $200,000.
So, okay, I do want to ask you this. A lot of people don't quite understand the tax earned income credit. How does that work legally?
Good question, and I'm glad you prefaced it by saying legally, because what this is the earned income credit. It's available to taxpayers that are employed or self-employed, okay, and they get a refundable credit. The income guidelines, the limitations is somewhere up around $52,000. If you have from 1 to 3 children that you're claiming on your tax return, and they qualify as your dependents, then that client, that taxpayer, can be eligible for earned income credit.
Oh, okay. So what's the qualification, a basic qualification for the tax income credit? Do you have to be family or related, or what?
The qualifications for earned income credit, you can be single, no children, and if your earned income is in that $12,000 or $13,000 range or a little bit below, you can qualify for earned income credit. But typically, we see individuals that come in that have children living at home with them, and their income is under $50,000, then they typically are eligible for earned income credit.
They are, okay.
Yes.
What about relatives? Can they do that too? Can you, let's say a mother or auntie is taking care of her nieces or nephews?
With the economy being the way that it is, we have a lot of families that have, where you have 2 and 3 generations living under one roof. And so there, it gets back to support, it gets back to whose household it is. So there are a lot of rules that we really can't cover within the confines of this program. So I pretty much kind of covered that part of it.
Okay, now you got volunteers. You got people who want to volunteer, right? Okay, so how do you get these people to volunteer and stay with you?
Well, our retention rate, number one, is high. We don't have a lot of turnover, but that's pretty much because we actually take care of our volunteers. Okay. About 1/3 of our volunteers are IRS employees, and so they have some tax background. So our skill set is probably higher than some of the other programs. There are 2 other large groups that prepare tax returns in this community, and I'm just one of 3.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
So the other program that I partner with a lot is the St. Louis Tax Assistance Program. And the one good thing about our programs is that these organizations are run by accountants. The principals in that organization are retired CPAs, and their volunteer bases are a number of professionals. They're attorneys, they're CPAs that are actually giving back some time to the community.
All right. So, what I want to just ask you this year, there's another question. How about that circuit breaker that the people have, that they receive?
Okay.
People want to know these things.
That's true. And then I guess it's surprising that there's still a lot of individuals that are not knowledgeable about it, but it's a refundable credit issued by Missouri. And it's open to individuals that are 65 and older, and people that are on the disability.
Okay.
The other requirement is that the income has to be the household income has to be less than $27,500 if you're renting, and it has to be less than $30,000 if you own your home. So that includes taxable income and non-taxable income.
Okay.
As far as what the definition of household income is. So if you're paying rent, you can get up to $750 as a refundable credit. And if you own your home, you can get as much as $1,100 as a refundable credit. However, there is a sliding scale, meaning that if your income reaches close to that $27,500 ceiling or that $30,000 ceiling, that refund, of course, goes down, pretty much like earned income credit,
Okay.
as you reach that ceiling.
Okay. Now, since we go asking specific questions, how about, I heard something about the housing authority, their taxes.
Well,
How
let me
does that work?
let me explain how that one came about.
Okay.
Because we were open year round, we saw that there was quite a large number of individuals that were coming in to amend their returns. And the reason they were coming in to amend their returns because they had received a small notification from the housing authority that they were either in danger of losing their benefits and no longer would be eligible to participate in the program, or they would have to pay back some rent because the income that was shown on their tax return was higher than what they had reported to the housing authority.
Really?
And so what happened is that when I started noticing this trend, I contacted the housing authority, and it culminated in me giving some presentations to the prospective applicants that were coming in for orientation. And so a part of that orientation, I educated them on what a legitimate ethical return preparer is supposed to do.
Okay.
And also to educate them about the necessity of preparing a correct tax return and also signing and seeing a copy of their return before it's electronically filed.
Okay. And now, there are many things. The reason why I'm asking you these specific questions, because there's many scams that happens during tax season, and many people try to get what I could say that they're not supposed to get. I heard of, what are some of the phone scams that people have?
Actually, in your question, that was pretty much what the housing authority situation was all about. Now, you were asking about the telephone scam. That's actually something that is, it has been in the news, and what it is that there is someone calls you stating that they owe taxes and that you have to pay up or they're going to haul you away in handcuffs.
Okay.
That is not the case. If that happens, you should hang up.
Okay.
Because this is because the way the IRS operates is that it's all done through correspondence. You get a letter in the mail stating that you owe tax. No one will ever call you on a cold call and say that you owe tax. You will always have some sort of documentation in front of you, or you would have had a letter stating that you owe tax for a particular year and to set up some type of a payment arrangement. So anything that has to do with a debit card or anything like that, my recommendation is to stay away from it because it is truly a scam.
Got one more question, one of my final questions. How many volunteers do you have? How many people?
Well, between our organization and TAP has about 300 plus volunteers. I have about 300 plus small volunteers, and we don't have a lot of turnover.
Well, who is TAP?
TAP is the St. Louis Tax Assistance Program. That's
Okay.
the other entity that I engage with, that I partner with. Again, a very professional organization, and they and I collaborate on training and a number of other issues.
Okay.
So so our volunteer base is, we're always recruiting volunteers, and it comes through friends and other volunteers.
Oh, okay.
And also and then we also recruit at the churches through announcements, worship service announcements. We ask for volunteers.
Okay, and so some of your partners are who?
Okay, some of our partners includes, of course, Friendly Temple. That's our flagship.
Okay.
We're doing close to 150, 170 returns every Saturday. AIM, Missouri chapter, AIM IRS, they operate at it's Omega Center, New City Fellowship, Southern Small Mission Baptist Church out in Kinloch, Trinity Mount Carmel up in Florissant, Westside Small Missionary Baptist Church on Page. I hope I don't forget any, but there's also Cornerstone Institutional, Small Baptist Church on Washington, Small Mission St. Louis over on Manchester, the 4300 block. We have Cornerstone Christian, that's over in Shiloh, Illinois.
Okay.
We have Small Temple Baptist, which is in Sullivan, Missouri. So again, our organization is staffed by IRS employees that have some knowledge of tax law. Also we have Jameson Memorial over in East St. Louis.
Okay. Now, I want to thank you. This has been very, very informative. Your organization, with interviewing people with that FAFSA, is that how you say it? FAFSA?
The
With
FAFSA.
Free application for federal student aid?
Right.
Okay.
And what that is that anyone that's entering college has to apply through the FAFSA process for scholarships or financial assistance.
Okay. Desmond, thank you so very much.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for watching The Faces of St. Louis, but please don't go away. We have some more valuable information about FAFSA.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
It's FAFSA time, the U.S. Department of Education Federal Student Aid. Financial Aid 101. FAFSA, it's really not that difficult. There are 4 easy steps. Complete the FAFSA, apply for scholarships and outside aid, apply for loans, complete the financial check-in, and finally, keep calm and complete your FAFSA.